Champ is back. He's back. 1 week absence, and I am ready to go. I missed, I knew it. I knew it, John. I knew the week I was going to miss was going to be the week that Trevor Lawrence arrives to the NFL. You think I'm not going to talk about that? I heard you on the last podcast. Oh, yeah, I'm going to talk about that game. Okay? We got a bunch of other stuff coming up. We're already in week 8 of the NFL season. It's mind-blowing, honestly.
It really is.
We are going to discuss a lot of things today. We got an action-packed episode for you all. We are going to break down the Roger Goodell. It wasn't like a State of the Union. It was like an owners meeting type of deal where he spoke about stuff. We're going to break that down in detail about the Deshaun Watson stuff, about the Washington football team stuff. Because me and John both have a lot of takes about that. We're also going to discuss the Mark Ingram trade. And if you have not heard yet, Mark Ingram today was traded to the New Orleans Saints. So Ingram going back to his roots in New Orleans. And there's a player on the Houston Texans who was not very happy about that deal, John. So,
oh, yeah, I did see that.
You did see that. Okay, good. And then finally, John wants to know, we're going to have a little fun in segment 1. John wants to know if I would have taken that Brady ball deal. I'll give you my thoughts on that. In segment 2, we're going to break down some teams, including the Tennessee Titans, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Washington football team, the Green Bay Packers, and the San Francisco 49ers. And then in segment number 3, it is back to fantasy sleepers and busts and game picks with the new leader in the clubhouse, yours truly. Sit back, buckle up, get yourself a tequila sunrise. That was my drink of choice for the past week while I was in the tropical island of Cancun. And let's talk about week 7. And let's go into week 8 of the NFL. Spencer! Roll the tape.
You play to win the game.
Touchdown! Can't wait.
Johnny.
Joe, I just want to, there's a little disclaimer. Do we have to make the disclaimer that you have an ear infection?
Oh, I mean, it's not really, you could. It's not affecting anyone.
Joe has an ear infection. So if you hear him yelling on the pod, that's why.
It's because I could barely hear out of my right ear. Literally barely. It's horrifying. I hate it. I thought the whole day Saturday before I got home, I'm shaking my head like a psychopath because I'm thinking there's water in my ear.
It's probably because of the water.
It's definitely because of the water.
It's water.
100% because of the water. But regardless, I have an ear infection. It's fine. I am back. Joe Miglio, co-host John McCarthy, episode 36 of Perfect Spiral. John, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Welcome back, Joe. You want to go? You want to do a small review of your vacation?
Well,
your honeymoon?
I could. Yes, I will do that, actually. Before I do that, I want to let everyone know something that you did at the end of the show last week with about 30 seconds left, which you need to get in the habit of doing, sir. Okay?
I did almost miss that.
You did almost miss this. You are listening to us right now. And if you have not subscribed on Apple or Google or Spotify or anywhere, please do so because that helps us help you. We come better prepared if you subscribe to the podcast. Review us. We want to know how we're doing. Interact with us on social media platforms. We are most engaging on Twitter and TikTok. So please hit us up there. And then finally, make sure that you rate, review, and download our episodes, obviously, because we want to know how many people are listening to us. You guys have been fantastic. We love everyone that's coming this way. We love everyone that has everything that we have to hear. You want to hear about my vacation?
I do.
It was lovely. Sun was out every day.
Yeah.
We were, we made some friends.
I know. You told me about that.
Made some friends. I got some subscribers from the podcast while I was on vacation.
Okay, he's connecting out
doing
there.
Doing a little work
All
while
right.
I was there. Okay. But, man, if anybody hasn't been to Cancun, do it. Do yourself a favor. Just go. It's great. We went to something called a cenote.
Okay.
Which is like an underwater cave. Bro.
I've been to one of those. I went to one of those in Mexico.
Bro, that's where they are, Mexico.
Yeah.
Bro, off the hook.
It's crazy.
Off the hook.
Did you have a tour guide for yours? Like it was
I did.
Okay, and it was like a small group of like maybe like 8 people.
Yeah, that's exactly how many people I had. 8.
Was it on like a back road that you went through?
Yeah, it was in like a Mayan village. It was craziness.
Oh, then it was different from the one I went.
Yeah, it was in like a Mayan village. It was nuts. And then the next day, I got front row tickets to Cirque du Soleil.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I treated myself well, and then I got a spa massage on Friday. Mwah. Mother of God. It was great. And then Sunday, coming home, sucked because Delta's airline sucks. So if anyone listens and you work for Delta, you suck. Okay?
Alienating half the listener base. They all work for Delta.
But no, it was great. It was. Nice. I had a really fun time. Did you guys miss me while I was gone? Richie and Chris Smith, I just want to say, I listened to the episode in full in Cancun on Thursday. It was fantastic. Great job by you guys. Thank you for filling in. You guys did a great job, and just kudos to you both.
It was a good time. I mean, we went in depth on a couple of things. You know, like Chris was on with the Bengals, which I'm sure we'll speak about them a little bit. But he was in on them, man. That was he made it a point to send it home that team was for real, and boy, did that come to fruition.
They really stepped up this weekend, yeah.
100%.
So we're gonna go through a couple of things. First, let's talk about. Before we talk about anything, can I give you my 60-second review on the Jaguars' first victory?
Of course, you have to.
Okay, I'm going to explain to you exactly how this was going down. All right. So we're on the plane, okay, and we fly JetBlue most of the time. Now, if you've never flown JetBlue before, they have the TVs there, and you could watch live television on the JetBlue flight.
Yeah, I've flown JetBlue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the beginning of the game, right, on the flight. It's great, having a grand old time. Then we get out of the U.S., okay? And, no, I'm sorry, not out of the U.S. We get to, like, the southern tip of the U.S., and we're starting to, the signal's going in and out.
Okay.
Right? John, this legitimately happened. Hannah was furious with me. Because the TV was not working at the seat I was in, I made the flight attendant change our seats to a different television to see if it was the TV that was not working or if it was just the channel that was not working. Ended up being the channel that was not working. So I missed the third quarter, and I missed like most of the fourth.
Okay.
So just as we're going through Texas, I get it back. Right? Now there's me and there's Hannah, and there's another guy to the left who's basically leaning over watching the game with me. And he's watching because his brother was a Dolphins fan. No joke.
Oh, wow.
So he's watching this whole thing transpire. And I'm watching. I'm like, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. We have a chance. And I have zero confidence, right? I have no confidence. Zero.
It didn't look good.
I had zero confidence. Yeah. You guys broke down, I think, really well. I'm not going to do it again. You guys broke down that whole like last series that they had before they kicked the field goal. Mm-hmm. I completely agree with you guys. I don't know what the hell was going on. I was so like shocked because I would have taken a timeout after the first sack. Oh, I would have taken a timeout and I would have been like, hey, let's regroup. Maybe throw a screen to Chenault. Whatever. They didn't do that. You know? And then like on the fourth down play, I'm like, what the hell could they run with basically one timeout? You have to get 8 yards in like 6, and you have to basically run like a play. It's going to take 2 seconds. And I'm thinking, what could they possibly do? Like they have to run an out route, right? They have to run something close to the sideline. Yeah. Because if they don't, then you're screwed.
Downs, you're over. It's over. Yeah.
So the biggest thing about that, I don't know why Miami was playing as far off as they were on that fourth down play.
Incredibly bizarre.
I don't know why there was a defender 6 yards off of Chenault. And honestly, he ran the perfect route on that play. So great play call, honestly. Mm-hmm. But I want to credit my quarterback for a second to recognize the down and distance in that time and to know how quickly he needed to get rid of the ball to give his kicker a shot to win the game. To me, that was something that he doesn't do 3 weeks ago. And I think it's a testament. Sorry, just let me finish.
No, go ahead.
I think it's a testament to his growth over the last 6 games. I think I read a story today, and I actually want to bring this up now too. I read a story today about how he's been a different quarterback from weeks 1 to 3 and weeks 4 to 6. Like a completely different quarterback. Like you would think it's not the same guy. And I agree with that. And I'm not, listen, they're not a good football team. We've talked about that at length, right? I'm not going to go back into that. But if you're a Jaguar fan listening to this podcast, or if you're a Jaguar fan in general, if you're a fan of the NFL in general and you don't know what the Jaguars are, they're going to be fine. And they're going to be fine because they have Trevor Lawrence. That, simply put, close the book. That's it. This is the reason people and fans were so excited that they took this kid, because he was the real deal. He didn't show it right away. Not a lot of rookies do. Not everybody gets it like that, like Justin Herbert did last year. Doesn't happen all the time, right? Even Joe Burrow last year started off like 1-6 before he tore his ACL.
Yeah, he was rocky.
Right? So not everybody gets it right away, but I am fully confident. Let me make sure I choose my words carefully. I'm not fully confident in the front office. I'm fully confident in the quarterback. And I'm fully confident in the quarterback that he's going to make this team better over the course of the next decade. That's the feeling I got. And to just put a cap on it, Daniel Jeremiah was on Rich Eisen's show today. And I usually never think the Jaguars have a chance in hell against the Seahawks, especially when they're going to Seattle. Daniel Jeremiah said today, without Russell Wilson, the Jaguars have a more talented roster than the Seahawks do. And he wouldn't be shocked if the Jaguars beat the Seahawks in Seattle this weekend. I don't know if that's going to happen. That's a lot of balls to go out and do that. But I just think Trevor Lawrence is starting to turn heads, I think. Without Trevor Lawrence on that team, that's never said by a guy like Daniel Jeremiah. Never said. So I think things are looking up for them. Even though they're 1-5, they're not going anywhere this year, I think things are looking up, personally.
He's showing... You know what I noticed about him, Joe, really quick?
Yeah,
Trevor?
tell me.
I just wanted to add this. One, that was a veteran move for him to find Chenault on that play, to know the down and distance, like you said, and to not look for the home run, but to be like, okay, they're playing deep zone. I need to hit him over the middle. That's the play, right? That's the play. And he knew it. What I'm realizing about him is that he's not trying to play hero ball anymore. The first 3 weeks, he played hero ball. It was very Carson Wentz-y. I need to run around. I need to scramble. I need to make the big play.
Right.
Now he's taking the easy stuff. They're letting the run game do its work until they get away from it. And they're just making good plays. And that was a good game. It was a better game than I thought it was going to be. And like you said, I was thinking ahead, they really have a chance to beat Seattle. They really do, because Seattle is not a very good football team.
I watched Gino on Monday night. He was a mess. He was a mess.
Yeah, there's a reason he's been non-existent for the last 5 years in the league.
Well, that's that. I had my moment, so thank you for that. Appreciate that.
You said 60 seconds. It was more like 10 minutes.
All right, well, whatever. I can't control myself sometimes. I really want to get to the Roger Goodell stuff.
Yes.
Because I think... I don't even know how to explain how I feel about this. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, Roger Goodell was part of like an owners meeting this week. I forget where it was, but he went and they spoke about at length about certain things. And the two things we're going to talk about is the Deshaun Watson stuff and the Washington football team investigation. Where do you want to go first? Because I think I have more to say about the WFT stuff than I think I do about the Deshaun Watson stuff. So if you want to start with the Watson stuff first, then we'll
let's start with Watson, because I have some stuff to say about Washington.
I think that basically he said that they can't put him on a non-exempt list right now because they're basically in a holding pattern because the investigation's on hold. So they can't do anything. So essentially he said if he wants to play, he could play. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he's like bluffing. I don't know if he's saying that because that's what he's allowed to say. But I mean, you guys covered it last week. There's speculation. The only team he's waived his no trade clause for is the Dolphins.
Yep.
If you're the Dolphins, now think about this. You're 1-6, right? even if you get Deshaun Watson, you're probably not going to the playoffs this year.
No.
Right? You would basically have to run the table or lose like one game the rest of the way. Right?
Yeah.
And they're playing the Bills this week, which they're probably going to lose to the Bills. So, let's say that they're 1-7 after Sunday. Then they basically have to win out to, I think, at least have a shot at a wild card spot.
And they don't even have their own first-round pick this coming
Right.
season. It's Phillies.
So, if I'm the Dolphins, do you even want to make that move right now? Do you even want that, or do you wait till the offseason and when you have a clearer picture of what things are?
Well, so I think what's going on with him is that, and the reason why he can't go on the exempt list is because it's not a criminal investigation. It's a civil investigation, which from what my understanding is, they've dropped a bunch of these allegations because a lot of them were kind of conflicting each other and it was impeding on the investigation. Supposedly it dropped 5 not too long ago. But if I'm Miami, I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, we're the only team he's waiving our no trade clause for. Carolina dropped out today, which ultimately I thought that was a really great destination for him. Because if he goes to Carolina, they have a much better chance of running the table and maybe trying to do something to get into the playoffs, right? Because they're already at 3 wins. I mean, even though they've lost 4 straight. But with Miami, you're right. It's kind of like, is it even worth it this year? Is it even worth it to really go after him? Considering like, all right, you get him for what? How many games left in the season?
They're playing their 7th. They're playing their 8th game on Sunday.
So it's 9 games.
So there's 9 games left after today.
So 9 games left, and if something comes about, you may not have him next year. It's a risky proposition.
Well, I mean, listen, it's a risky proposition not because of the player. It's a risky proposition because of what you're going to give up. Mm-hmm. They want 3 first-round picks plus players, right? And you would have to think that you're trading Tua in that trade. You're not keeping Tua if you get Deshaun Watson.
No, you're getting rid of him.
So it's 3 firsts and Tua and maybe somebody else. I don't know. But, that's a lot for a guy you don't know. It has a murky future, to say the least.
Yes, I agree.
And I think that I'm not so angry with Goodell on that because I think it's kind of out of his hands a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think he's trying to play coy because he knows that he's almost at the mercy of whatever happens in this lawsuit. So I think he's just trying to, assess the field, if I may.
Yeah, he's just trying to be a little standoffish about it until something does happen.
So I don't think there's really much to go into outside of that. I do want to talk about the Washington football team stuff because that stuff really pissed me off today. And what Goodell said is that they've handled their investigation and they're very satisfied with what they've done with the Washington football team. He also noted that Daniel Snyder has done nothing related to the Washington football team in 4 months, which I didn't know about. They didn't make that public. They done that behind the scenes. And they said that they're not going to release any more information. They're not going to release any information to the public about the investigation. That's some BS, if you ask me. That's some garbage. Because you were okay. And I'm not defending John Gruden now. Let me be clear when I say this. I'm not defending John Gruden. But you threw that man to the wolves as part of the investigation for the Washington football team. But you're now going to say that you're not going to put any further stuff out? Why? How many people, John, could lose their jobs over this investigation? How many people could actually lose their jobs over this investigation? I am convinced John Gruden was not the only person sending emails to Bruce Allen.
No way.
No way, no how. So why is that guy the scapegoat? And Mark Davis is rightfully upset because he lost a head coach because of this, but everybody else just gets away scot-free? I mean, what are we doing here? And he's protecting owners. Even Jerry Jones came out today, and I don't have any love for Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones came out today and was like, "Oh yeah, we're all very satisfied with what the NFL's done with the Washington football team." Why? What are you hiding, my friend? What are you hiding, or who are you protecting?
It could be a nuclear fallout. That's why they're stopping it. That's why Goodell's not going after it. But you know what's funny, right? This just shows you how different leagues are, right? Let's think for a second. I'm going to pose something to you.
Sure.
Say this happened in the NBA.
Okay.
Say this happened in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that's like come close to an extent is the Donald Sterling stuff.
Right. Okay. Fair.
Let's say Dan Snyder was the owner in the NBA and this happened with the Washington Wizards. How fast is he removed from the league?
Immediately.
So
Donald Sterling was forced to sell his basketball team.
Why is he still allowed to own the team?
It's a phenomenal question. It really is an absolutely phenomenal question.
Because some of the stuff he did was quite heinous.
Yeah, it's funny too because Goodell was another thing. He said that the women wished to remain anonymous, and then there were like 15 women that like posted on like social media. And they were like,
"That's bullshit."
That's not even remotely true. Like we want to know who we want everyone to know who we are. So he's just like, I don't know.
It does seem like Goodell is protecting something. He could be protecting himself, right?
I think he's protecting himself too. He probably knows he's in the wrong, and his name is probably in those emails somewhere.
Of course. And like you said, Joe, you hit it right on the head, and I think we said it last week. John Gruden was not the only person that was in these emails, in Bruce Allen's ear. Listen, there's probably guys at ESPN, there's guys at NBC, there's guys at CBS.
Right, there was leaked that Adam Schefter was
Exactly. So, like, you're going to tell me that there wasn't more people, and this could be a huge fallout. Because this all ties back to other problems within the league that the league has had over the years. Everything ties back to this because it's a culture thing. This is something that goes on. This is something that's known. And the more that comes out, the more it makes the league look bad. And obviously, it seems like Goodell's trying to protect, obviously, the integrity of the league.
But it's garbage, John. It's garbage.
It is bullshit because at this point, just let it all out. Let it all out. And it's sad because when you, like I said, if this happened in the NBA, Adam Silver's putting his foot down and he's washing his hands of it, and that's that. Goodell plays like puppet to the owners too much. And that's where I think Silver's different. Silver plays puppet to the players and protects the players. He has no love for the owners when something like this was to happen.
No, you're right. And I think that it's just, how do you think the NFL players feel about this? Because clearly John Gruden, stuff that he said was pretty derogatory towards a number of different groups of players in the NFL.
Yes.
So, they took care of that, right? And I think the players were happy that happened because I don't think guys would want to play for a coach who says those things. Mm-hmm. But now you come out and you're protecting whoever else you're protecting. And it's like, well, why?
Can't have it both ways.
Why? So now if I'm a player, right? If I'm a player for a team, who am I playing for? Who am I playing for? What is my owner, the guy that pays me, what does he stand for? How dirty is his laundry list? It's just you said something that resonated with me. They have an opportunity, a golden opportunity. The NFL has a golden opportunity right now to wipe the slate clean. Completely clean. And he could come out and basically say, hey, there's been a lot of stuff going on in the background for some time, and we know the ramifications of it, but we feel like we need to address it now. And I think the number one reason they are not addressing it is because football is king right now in the United States. The top 33 television shows since the NFL season kicked off back in September are all NFL games. The NFL is up by 12.5% in viewership this year from last year across the board. Right? NFL is back to being the best sport on earth, the most watched sport in the United States, right? So football's back on top. They never really left, but it's back to where it was before the pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. So, and if from a business perspective, you don't want to put any negative publicity out there, because all it's going to do is it's going to bring a negative image to your brand. And right now, there's a very positive image on your brand. And another thing too about this is that we're talking about this today. A month from now, this is going to be non-existent. It's going to be over. No one's going to be talking about it anymore. And they know that. They know that. As opposed to, think about, let's cross sports for a minute. The thing with the Astros, right? Mm-hmm. They bring the thing up, the cheating scandal, or this or that. That happened in 2017. It's 2021. They were in the World Series. We're still talking about this now. We're still bringing this up. It's still a thing. So if you bring this, I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about it. We should. You brought up the Donald Sterling thing just now. How long ago did that happen? 10 years ago?
It was like 10 years ago.
8 years ago, whatever it was. People still talk about it. They know it. They know exactly what happened. If they drop this bombshell, it will be talked about forever. Forever. It'll be marked as a black stain on the NFL. And there are guys in the league who are icons, right? Jerry Jones is an icon in the NFL. Based off what he said today, I'm sure he's got some skeletons in the closet.
Oh, he's had some known skeletons too.
So there would be some titans of the NFL industry that would be taken down by this. And I think that's the main reason why they don't want to let it out. They do not want the negative publicity because they know right now that they are on top and they know that they have a perfect product when it comes to viewership and everything else.
You're right.
And that's ultimately, and it's not the right thing to do. It's not what they should be doing, but to me, it's why they are doing it.
You said it best, Joe. There's nothing else to say about it. It is what it is. That's really what it is.
Annoying. Before you talk about the Brady stuff, can I just ask you?
Yes.
What do you think about the Mike Tomlin press conference?
Incredible.
Isn't that great?
I think it's funny that people thought that Mike Tomlin, the coach of one of the best franchises in football, I'm not saying they were a great team this year, I'm saying best franchises in NFL history, and by all accounts, he's one of the top 5 coaches in the league.
He is. I don't care what his team's record is.
Like, even if they were like 1-16, he's still one of the top 5
yeah,
coaches.
He easily is.
And he's earned that pedigree. Do you think he's really going to leave for USC?
Can I just point out the difference between how Urban Meyer handled the USC allegations when he was axed and how Mike Tomlin handled the USC allegations when he was axed?
Totally different spectrum. When Mike Tomlin said there's not a booster with a blank check big enough, I was like, holy shit. That's like, I need to put that in like my bio on like my Facebook.
You know who's probably like, God damn it. After that?
Who?
The Browns.
Oh,
That's who the Steelers play Sunday. If you don't think the Steelers are going to run through a wall for their head coach on Sunday, you're highly mistaken.
He was fired up. He was so mad.
I think they're so hyped after he said that I would borderline think, I think they might even beat the Browns in Cleveland on Sunday.
It's possible.
With or without Baker Mayfield.
That's a whole mess. That's a whole nother mess.
All right. You want to talk about this Brady thing?
I do. I got to ask you.
Okay.
All right. So during the Bucs-Bears game, Brady throws his 600th touchdown pass, which congratulations, Tom Brady. You've reached another milestone that nobody will ever accomplish again. He's the first person to do it, clearly. And it's cool because like they did like a graphic of like all the players that hit like 100 touchdowns, 200 touchdowns, 300 touchdowns, 400 touchdowns, 500, and then it's Brady at 600. It's like, all right, enough, guy. He throws it to Mike Evans. Mike Evans had a huge game.
3 touchdowns, right?
3 touchdowns that game. Mike Evans, I guess, wasn't thinking, and he gave the ball to the fan. Now that fan is thinking, all right, I got the 600th game.
You think he knew?
Ball.
Honestly.
In the moment, no, but I think once they put the graphic up, because they did, I'm sure obviously he knows now. They're saying that ball would have netted like $500,000 at auction, right? So let me preface this. So now the trainer comes over and he goes, hey, listen, Tom wants that back. And the guy said, I can't say no to the GOAT. Like, I can't say no to Tom. I have to give him the ball back. So because he gave the ball back, Tom Brady did this. He gave him 2 signed jerseys and a helmet, all signed. Mike Evans signed jersey and game cleats. Season tickets for the remainder of this season and next season. $1,000 to the Bucs merch store, and 1 Bitcoin. What would you have done?
First of all, people are saying that's a good haul. I think that's a joke. I do. I think that's a joke. If this guy's a fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise, am I right?
Yes, he seemed like he was a fan.
All right. I'm going to do a little math really quick. Okay. Now, Tampa Bay is not New York, right?
Yeah.
Right? So let's just say, how much do you think, what's the average cost of a ticket at a Tampa Bay Bucks game, you think?
I'd say with Brady there, I mean, you're looking at like maybe 150 to $200.
You think that's the average price of ticket in Tampa Bay?
It could have been
Florida.
even more. He was sitting at like...
All right, let's say an average ticket. Let's say it's like $75.
Yeah, all right, 75.
Okay. Let's just say it's $100. Just make life easy, right? So it's $200 a ticket. How many home games they play a year? 9? 8?
No, I think it's 8.
Right? Okay. So 8 games a year. Okay. That's $1,600 for a season worth of tickets.
Okay.
For 2 tickets, right? If you, let's say lifetime tickets are what, 50 years? Probably?
Yes, probably.
Right? 50 years. And multiply that. Okay. So if my dude asked for lifetime tickets, okay, lifetime season tickets to the Bucks, right? 2 tickets for him and the next generation of whatever if he has kids or whatever the case is, right? And let's say that spanned over the course of 100 years. By my math I just did, that's $160,000. $160,000. You just told me the ball was going for $500,000, right?
Could have went for $500,000 at auction.
Right. Okay. So if this guy wanted first, that's the number one thing I would ask for. The number one thing I would ask for would be lifetime season tickets. If they just gave me that, I would borderline give the ball away. Honestly. Honest to God. I would borderline give the ball away. But because it's Tom Brady, I would have asked for that, and I would have asked for a meet and greet and a day with Tom Brady. That would have been my price. That would have been my price. I could care less about tickets to the team store. What's $1,000 a ticket to the team store? 5 jerseys? Seriously.
If that, yeah.
Right? Like, okay. And like
the signed merch is
the
cool.
signed merch, you could buy that if you want. That's whatever.
Bitcoin?
The Bitcoin. Come on. John. If you think seriously, if you had Justin Jefferson's 250th touchdown catch, right? And the guy gave it to you and you were holding on to it, would you want what I just said I wanted? Or would you want what this guy got?
All right, so here's the thing. I think it depends on the player, right? So, like, Brady is the greatest player of all time.
Right.
You can make those demands because, like, you don't have to give the ball back. So, like you said, I want to meet and greet with Tom. I want all these things. Yeah, they should give it to you because you know what? He's the greatest fucking player of all time.
Just give me a day with Tom. I just want to pick his brain. That's all I want to do. I want to sit down. I want to have lunch with him. I want to ask him about how he felt his career. I want to ask him about the New England saga. I want to ask him all these questions because that's a story. A fan. That's a story I could tell to my kids and my grandkids for the rest of my life. I got Tom Brady's 600th ball, and because of that, he wanted it back, but I got this. You know the tickets you go to every week? That's because of me. Right? Like, that's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But to me, that's what I would ask for. Lifetime season tickets. Because they're not going to amount to how much the ball costs. Mm-hmm. Yes, they're expensive. They're not going to account. I'm not asking for like free food I'm asking for lifetime season tickets. That's what I'm asking for. That's it. For the next 100 years, I want to go to every single Tampa Bay Bucks game that they have at home, or have the option to go to every single Tampa Bay Bucks game at home. That's what I want.
I'm with you. I agree. I mean, it just sucks because like he got the ball and then he lost it. And then, I mean, I guess he was famous for like a day. So that is kind of interesting too.
Ridiculous, if you ask me.
It was such a big deal for no reason.
Garbage. Anyway, that Will, do you want to talk about the Mark Ingram trade really quick?
Oh, yeah, really fast. Mark Ingram got traded back to the New Orleans Saints from Houston. Brandon Cooks is pissed.
Brandon Cooks is livid.
Yeah, he's not happy.
Well, I mean, he plays on a friggin' 1-6 football team, and they're not going anywhere fast. And they just traded another veteran. Not like Mark Ingram was doing anything of value.
But wait, hold on.
But
Joe.
wait. I'm waiting.
I have a number for you.
Well, you have a number, like a hotline?
I have a stat.
Oh, you have a stat. Okay.
So I shared this to the Twitter, right?
Okay.
So Mark Ingram, he was the best running back on a bad team, right?
He was really the best running back on that team?
Yes. He averaged 3.2 yards per carry.
Oh, my gosh.
Despite running into loaded boxes, a league-leading 62% of the time. Now, do you think differently about Mark Ingram a little bit?
No.
I really thought you would.
Why is Mark Ingram getting loaded boxes?
Well, because obviously Davis Mills couldn't push the ball downfield. So they're just playing the run every time. 62% of the time, a loaded box, that's insane.
I mean, if he was averaging 4 yards a carry with a loaded box, I'd say, okay.
Really?
But like
3.8?
3.2, I mean, all right. That's not bad, I guess.
I mean, he goes to the Saints now. They don't have Tony Jones. He's clearly going to be the backup now, and him and Kamara are going to...
I mean, listen, I think they're going to approach this as a Latavius Murray, Alvin Kamara situation. Like they did last year and the year before that, and it was proven successful.
Yeah, because Kamara is clearly a better pass catcher than he is a runner.
Well, it's not going to be the last time we're going to talk about Kamara today.
Ooh, wow, teaser.
Throw that in there. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk about some of the games that we're going to highlight from last week. And I know John's going to take the lead on this because I was not able to watch any football this week. So, Johnny, it'll be John's segment when we come back. Thanks.
Hey y'all, Spencer Blinn, the producer for Perfect Spiral Podcast, and you're listening to my band Hollow Choir's new song, What You Want. Available now on Spotify. What you want.
All right, John.
I'm back.
We're back here. So, John, for the first time in about, I want to say like literally 10 years, I did not have a chance to watch football this past Sunday. Like I had no access to watching football.
Were you itching a little bit? Like, were you?
No, because I was sitting on a lounge chair at a pool having so much tequila, it should have killed me, but it did not. Yeah, it was pretty nice.
I'm glad you're still here.
And thank you so much.
In one piece.
But there were some teams I wanted to talk about, but let's go to your teams first because I think let's start with a team who was kind of on a roller coaster ride to start the season. We were like, oh, maybe they're not as bad as we thought they were. And they're like, maybe they are. No, maybe we're not. And now ultimately it's like, yes, they are as bad as we thought they were. And that's Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, this is a tough team to watch.
Who just lost to the Raiders 33-22 last week.
Which it shouldn't have even been that
I was going to say,
close.
was the game as close as a score?
No, and that's what I was going to get to. So from what I've noticed about Philadelphia is it seems like they need to be down by like 4 scores with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter to even consider doing something. It's very bizarre. Now, they're one of those teams that are in a weird spot, and this is going to be the theme of the games I cover, right?
Okay.
It is a bad year to be bad. It is.
Why? Because the draft is not
The
great?
draft is like
Thin.
incredibly thin,
Yeah.
right? And when you're a team like Philly that has so many question marks, they have a question mark at quarterback. They have a question mark at running back.
Do they really have a question mark at quarterback?
Yes.
Or is it just as simple as Jalen Hurts is not the answer?
He's not, but then that creates a question mark because who's your quarterback?
Right. Well, they don't have one.
Exactly. So they have nothing. So then Kelsey's a free agent.
Jason Kelsey.
Yes.
Center. Okay.
You have a lot of big contracts on that defense. They're projected to have $14.8 million in cap next year.
That's not a lot.
Not a lot. $14.8 million, Joe. And wait, they're projected 3 first-round picks this year. In a draft that is not a draft you want 3 first-round picks, as it stands right now. They're troublesome to me. Jalen Hurts, athlete. We say that about a lot of guys in this league, right? Athlete. Bad quarterback. He's just simply not good. Devontae Smith is open on a ton of routes. Wide open. Jalen Hurts misses him by a country mile.
I saw Chris talking about this. I heard Chris talking about this on the podcast last week. Why are they not throwing him the football?
They throw him the football, but he misses him by a country mile, or it's such a bad throw, he drops it. Devontae Smith had 3 drops last game. 3.
Were they
Two of
all
them were
his fault?
2 of them were Hurts' fault.
Hurts' fault.
Yes. Hurts is throwing he's inaccurate. He's a hell of a runner, inaccurate. But you know what's crazy? They have no run game.
They don't run the ball. They don't call run plays.
Zero run plays. And the only run plays you run is when your quarterback's going to run.
And
Wow,
Miles
way to
Sanders
tolerate the
isn't
offense.
a bad running back.
Well, now he's hurt.
Well, yeah.
What a surprise. So a couple of notes I took down from them. The whole 3 first-round picks thing, they're projected to, so far, if the season ended today, they'd have the 2nd overall pick.
Second.
Miami's.
Okay.
They'd have the 6th overall pick, their own. And then Indianapolis's pick.
Which is 13th, something like that?
Yeah, if the season ended today, because Carson Wentz would need to play 70% of the snaps and make the playoffs, or 75%, just in general, for them that second-round pick to convey. Where does this team go? Because I'm seeing a team that is in purgatory bad.
I genuinely think they are right now, as currently constructed, and for the future, I think they are the worst team in that NFC East.
100%.
In the immediate future, and right now, I think they're the worst team. I think that the Giants are better than them. I think the Washington football team is better than them. And obviously the Cowboys are better than them. So, yeah, I don't think they're in a good spot at all. I think Washington is a team that has 1,000% underperformed this year on both sides of the football.
We're going to get to them, too.
I think the Giants, I don't know. I don't think they're as bad as their record shows they are, but they also, you are what your record says you are at the same time. So, I don't know what they are, but they have more talent than Philly.
Oh, and they're in a way better spot.
So they have more talent. I could say that with confidence. They have more talent. Philadelphia, I don't know. You got an aging Lane Johnson. You said you have an aging Jason Kelce. You have an aging Brandon Graham, who's out for the year. You have an aging Fletcher Cox,
who has a huge cap number next year.
Right? You have all these aging veterans, and you're not going anywhere fast. Nowhere fast. Your wide receiver draft selections have been pitiful. Pitiful. Jalen Reagor's a bust. He is a bust.
You traded
J.C.
Ertz, too.
Arcega-Whiteside is a bust. Dallas Goedert's your best weapon. And that's nothing against Dallas Goedert. But Dallas Goedert's not a world beat. Dallas Goedert's not Kyle Pitts. Dallas Goedert's not Travis Kelce. Dallas Goedert's not Mike Gesicki. He's not. So, where is this football team?
And
where do they go? And I do not like their head coach.
No, I don't like him.
I don't. I do not like their head coach. He made another ridiculous comment today. He compared their foundation growing to soiling and watering. I don't even want to. He said he put a flower in the locker room. I mean, really? Are we kidding?
Does he think it's Farmville?
I don't know what it is, but they're a team. Before the year, we said they were a bottom 5 football team, and I'm standing by that. They may be a bottom 3 football team by the time the year ends.
Yeah, it's tough to watch, and there's really no avenues for them to get better, which is concerning to me. And that's why I wanted to talk about them, because it's just like I said, it's a bad year to be bad. And now it's kind of like with Jalen Hurts. It's kind of like, well, how much time do we give him?
There's no. I mean, who's the best quarterback prospect? It was supposed to be Rattler, and he
terrible.
Got benched.
There's this quarterback from Liberty. I think his name is Malik Jones or something.
Malik Willis.
That's who everybody has as the first quarterback taken. Which
what about the kid from Pittsburgh? Pickett.
I've seen him in some spots. I happen to like the kid from Notre Dame, but nobody likes him, Jack Cohn.
You like him?
I thought he looked solid. I also like, what's his name? Is it the kid from Auburn?
Auburn?
It's one of these.
Bo Nix?
Maybe. I'm not. You know what it is? Nobody's really like a
nobody's
world
standing
beater.
Out.
You know,
no one's standing out.
And the only one that stands out is the kid Caleb Williams, and he's a freshman.
Well, yeah, him and the kid from Ohio State. I forget his name.
Yeah, I agree.
I forget his name. Let's move on to another team. Do you want to talk about? We mentioned the Washington football team. You want to talk about them?
Yeah. So Washington again. Did we just whiff on this team? Because we love them going into the season. Like the defense, oh my God.
The defense has 1,000% underperformed. If you go across that defensive line on paper is a top 3 unit. Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat, Chase Young, and who's the other guy that I'm missing?
It's Jonathan Abrams?
No. I forget. It's not coming to me right now. But they're a top 3 unit. Then you go to their secondary, and they got a brand new corner this year from Cincinnati and William Jackson, who is a top 10 cornerback, probably the best cornerback you don't know about, but he hasn't played that well this year. You know, they have a very, very stout defense that has not performed well.
Landon
and
Collins.
they're not getting to the quarterback.
Nope.
They're not getting to the quarterback. And, I think the team, you had the pin come out of this team in week 1 when Fitz got hurt, right? Yes. Everyone loved Taylor Heineke in the playoff game last year. He almost beat the Bucs. He almost did this. He almost did that. He beat first game he came in. He beat the Giants on Thursday Night Football. Everyone's on the Heineke train.
Now
right?
he's almost on the bench.
He's just not. He's not good. He's not meant to be. Some guys are just not meant to be NFL starters. Like the best way I could describe him is he's very similar to a guy like Gardner Minshew. Right? Quarterback gets hurt. Guy comes in, surprised a few games, maybe even for like a whole season. He's like, oh, maybe it's not that bad. And then you realize like he's got severe limitations. Mm-hmm. And they're not running the football at a great clip. Antonio Gibson has regressed from the past season. And defenses are keying in on Terry McLaurin. And McLaurin still has his games where every now and then where he does well. But this team is clearly limited. But I am shocked by how bad their defense has been. I am surprised.
It's hard to watch because and what's crazy is I don't even think they've really. Most of the games this year, it's been decidingly that they've lost. It's not like they've really been in any games.
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. I mean, the NFC is loaded. The NFC is very top heavy, but I don't really see a way for them to get back in this thing. I see them as at this rate, John, I see them going 6-11.
Well, see, because I just pulled up their schedule. Right?
Yeah, please.
So they lost to the Chargers by 4 the first game. Then they beat the Giants by 1 in that close game. The Giants should have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
They get killed by Buffalo 43-21. They play a close game against Atlanta and win. But really, I mean, we're talking.
They
about
won
Atlanta.
the last play.
Yeah. The Saints crushed them 33-22. The Chiefs crushed them 31-13. And the Packers manhandled them this past weekend.
They did. Okay.
So 24-10.
So let's for a second. Okay. Let's talk about their losses. Right. The Chargers are 5-2. The Chiefs are 3-4, but they're better than their record indicates. The Packers are 6-1. That's 3 of their losses. The Bills are 4-2. And who else did they lose to?
That was it. I think that's all.
They have 5 losses, right? They lost to the Bills, the Packers,
the Saints,
the Chargers. Oh, and the Saints are 4-2.
Yeah, 4-2.
Every team they've lost to is a playoff team. And the 2 teams that they've beaten are not playoff teams. So maybe they've had we could say they've had a very difficult schedule, to start out the season. And when you have a backup quarterback playing in those games against those good teams, it's not a recipe for success.
And now
it's not.
Down the stretch, Joe, this week they play Denver in Denver.
See, to me, that's a winnable game.
Yeah, because Denver is just not.
But I don't know if they win that game. That's a toss-up to me.
They go on bye. Then they then they play Tampa at home.
No.
They go to Carolina.
Yes.
They play Seattle at home.
Maybe.
They go to Vegas.
No.
They play Dallas at home.
No.
They go to Philly.
Yes.
They go to Dallas.
No.
They play Philly at home.
Yes. Philly's bad.
And then they go to MetLife.
No, probably no. So yeah, they're like a 6-11 football team right now. That's where they are.
And this is a team that we thought was handling the division. How did we miss this?
Well,
this is why I brought them up, because it's like, where did we miss? Like, what didn't we account for?
I think we expect. First of all, we expected Fitz to be there the whole year. That's number one, right? We expected Fitz to be on the team the whole season. We expected him to really ignite that offense that was kind of very subpar last year. And as a subpar football team, they went 7-9, right? And I think that's something we need to talk about for a minute. And I say we, I mean the two of us, we looked at that defense last year and we said, wow, if this team gets a good quarterback, they're like a 10-win football team, right? And they got Ryan Fitzpatrick, right? And Fitzpatrick is clearly better than Alex Smith was last year. He's clearly better than Dwayne Haskins. He's absolutely better than Taylor Heineke. There's no debate about that, right? But he got hurt in the first game. So now what happens? Now they go back to a guy who is basically a carbon copy, and from the wild card game, the same guy they had as like a Dwayne Haskins or an Alex Smith last year. So what's the result? They're going to be a 7-10, 6-11 football team. That's exactly what they were last year. They brought back a lot of the same guys. They brought back a couple of guys in, but they're a lot of the same guys, and now they have the same exact quarterback. So why should we expect a different result? If Ryan Fitzpatrick was the quarterback of that football team, maybe they win that Charger game. Maybe they beat the Packers at home. You don't know. There's so many. I don't think it's something. It's just like they're a bad football team with them, right? When you have football teams that have, take the Seahawks, right? Take the Seattle Seahawks, okay? You take away Russell Wilson from that football team, they're not a horrible football team, right? That defense is not. It's not as bad as the stats are. You got Bobby Wagner, you got Jordan Brooks, you have Jamal Adams, you have a couple of guys on that defense that should be good. But when you lose a key cog on your team, it just deflates the energy of the whole football team. It just says, wow, how far can we really go with this guy?
And they don't have a run game because Gibson's playing with that fracture in his shin.
Right. So it's like the cards just haven't been laid out for them. And on top of that, the Cowboys are world beaters this year. So I don't even know if they at full strength would have been better than Dallas.
Yeah, probably not.
And I don't think we both agree that there was probably only one team coming out of that division anyway this year.
Yeah, I think we only had one team.
So I just, listen, they are what they are. Right now, with a good quarterback, they're, I think, at max, a 10-win football team. They don't have a quarterback right now. So they're a losing franchise. And there's nothing that I don't think. Maybe we overshot our shot with them. Yeah. Maybe we saw Fitzpatrick go with them. We're like, wow, maybe they are going to be that much better with an actual quarterback.
And Joe, this was a team that we pegged as like a legitimate contender.
It wasn't just us, John. A lot of people Washington this year. A lot of them did.
And I think everyone's just kind of shocked because it's like this was a team that, wow, like they took the Super Bowl champions to the brink. Like, and now it's just like, holy shit, this isn't the same team.
I know.
And Chase Young is like, where's Chase Young?
Getting doubled.
I know, and nothing's happening. It just bothers me because it's like, wow, like I don't know. I just honestly, I hope Fitz comes back and maybe they reel up a couple
they
wins.
lost 24-10 to the Packers this week. Mm-hmm. Was there any play that stood out in that game that made you feel that you compelled to talk about them, or like you said, was the score was not as close as the score indicated?
No, but you know what it is? The reason I wanted to bring them up was because I'm so flabbergasted by how a difference in a year makes with them. But you said it best. They were a 7-9 football team. We expected 3 more wins with Fitz. They won the division strictly off the strength that the division seemed like it was dead last year.
It was dead, yeah.
And now Dallas is world beaters. So, I mean, maybe that's just what it is.
Yeah. Well, I want to stick with that game for a minute because I want to talk about another team on the other side, which is the Green Bay Packers.
Ooh, yes.
Okay. Green Bay this past week came in at number 5 in the Perfect Spiral Power Rankings. And I just want to say, let's go back. Let's take a trip down memory lane, John, to week 1 back in September. which feels like a world ago.
Literally.
And on opening weekend in Jacksonville, they got embarrassed by the Saints. They lost 37-3, I think.
Yeah, it was
bad.
Close.
And we were on this podcast and we said, what's wrong with the Packers? Aaron Rodgers doesn't care. Looks like he doesn't care. Blah, 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 all this other stuff. Right? Since then, they've rattled off 6 wins in a row. Okay? And they've dominated pretty much every one of those games that they've played in.
Yeah.
There has not been one ounce of drama that has come out of Green Bay. There has not been a peep from Rodgers himself. There has not been a peep from anybody like a Devon. Nothing. We have heard nothing out of Green Bay. Mm-hmm. I am impressed with Matt LaFleur, the head coach. There was so much negative energy coming from this franchise in the offseason. And somehow, some way, this guy, after getting blasted in week 1 by the Saints, pulled this group together and said, you know what? We were in the NFC title game last year, and we know how good we are. Just go out and play and do what you're supposed to do. Now, again, I did not watch the football game this Sunday, but they won 24-10 in Washington, right? From the stats I saw, Rodgers had a couple of touchdown passes, so he played well. Peppered Devontae Adams like he usually does. Robert Tonyan had a touchdown catch this week, tried to get him back involved. They just seem like they are just there. And I put it this way. I responded to somebody on Twitter today. They're just ho-humming their way through the regular season. And no one's talking about them. No one's talking about them. Nothing. Everyone's talking about the Cowboys. Everyone's talking about the Bengals. Everyone's talking about the Chargers. Everyone's talking about the Cardinals. No one's talking about the Packers. Why? Why? Why is no one talking about Green Bay?
I might have an explanation for
Please tell me, because I want to know, because they're just as good as they were last year.
So let's go through their schedule. Let's go through the games that they've played. And this has been the argument that I've seen, that they've played a soft schedule.
Okay.
So they lose to the Saints week 1, 38-3.
Right.
Now, since that game, they've beaten the Lions 35-17. They beat the 49ers. That was a very close game. Rodgers, the game
I remember, yep.
30-28. One of the games of the year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Steelers 27-17. That wasn't even a close game. They beat the Bengals in overtime. That was one of the wildest games of the year.
Right, and that now seems like a very big win.
A big win now.
In a hostile territory.
Yes.
Okay.
25-22. And then they beat the Bears 24-14.
Okay.
And they beat the Washington football team 24-10. Now, I'll add this, Joe, really quick. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get to this a little later. Unless you want to get to it now, we'll get to it later. Tomorrow's a true test.
Is it, though? Because they don't have Adams now.
It would look even better if they won without him.
I mean,
Arizona doesn't have J.J. Watt either.
I'll tell you this. If the Packers, I'm saying this right now, if the Green Bay Packers go into Arizona tomorrow and win against an undefeated Cardinal team without Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard, they are the number 1 team in the NFC. Bar none.
I agree.
Bar none.
I agree with you, Joe. 100%.
If they could beat them without Devontae Adams.
I mean, Arizona, granted, they're not going to have J.J. Watt. They might not have Hopkins either. But
no, Hopkins is questionable. He's probably going to play.
So
if they don't have Hopkins, though, I take back what I said.
Yeah. But listen, that's a big game tomorrow.
It's a huge game.
And it's funny because, like, you look at their schedule and, like, all right, let's say they played 3 or 4 soft games throughout the wins, right?
Listen, everybody has soft games in their schedule.
I mean, Tampa's had the softest schedule.
Well,
so it's like, but you're right. Nobody's talking about Green Bay.
Zero. No one. I feel like they're non-existent. They're 6-1. The season ended today. They're like, and just because of how strong the NFC is, they're the number 3 seed in the NFC.
Yeah.
You know, the Cardinals are 1, the Bucks are 2, the Packers are 3. I mean, it's just like they're just ho-humming their way through the regular season. I want to see a little bit of a I want to see a little bit I want to see them have a quality win. I think they got a quality win against the Bengals. Looking back now, that's a quality win.
That was a hard fuck game.
You know, it's a quality win. Going into Pittsburgh and winning is a quality win. You know, I think it is. I think it's a quality win. Beating San Francisco is a quality win.
Yeah.
You know, even though they're 2-4, I think they're still a decent football team. It's a quality win. I think, listen, beating the Lions, okay. Beating the Bears, fine. Beating the Washington football team, okay. Those are your softies, right? Those are your softies. And you should win those games. Good football teams win games they're supposed to win. Hands down. But they're going to have to, they play the Tampa Bay, I think, this year too.
Yeah.
I want to see them win either in Tampa or I want to see them win in Arizona. The one of those two games, they need to win. For me to think they're the best team in the NFC, they need to win. If they win both, kudos. I'm asking them to win one of those games.
I agree with you.
One.
Now, do you want to stick in the NFC or do you want to go to the AFC team you wanted to address?
Let's do our final NFC team because I think we mentioned them before just now.
49ers.
You want to talk about San Francisco.
So, interesting situation in San Francisco. Did you know?
Did I know?
And I only found this out this week. Mm-hmm. Did you know that Kyle Shanahan only has a .48 win percentage?
I didn't until you showed me the stat.
So I'm getting a little tired, just a pinch tired, with how inflated the league makes this man's ego. Joe, I'm saying it right now, and this might be hot takey.
Hot takey.
Hot takey. Spencer, this is a hot take. We got to make a noise for like hot take.
Yeah,
like,
I know, right? We do.
I don't think he's a good coach. I'm sorry. I just don't, and I'll tell you why. One, he's orchestrated two of the biggest Super Bowl collapses in NFL history. Did we just forget about that? Did we just forget about that when he was the offensive coordinator in Atlanta? He forgot to run the ball?
On the flip side, I could say the first Super Bowl, he was an offensive coordinator, so let's be fair. Second Super Bowl, he was the head coach.
And he did almost the same thing. Literally almost the same thing. Verbatim. The Brandon Ayuk thing is the most mysterious thing in football.
It honestly is wild.
You're saying he's not ready. Meanwhile, this man put up almost 68 catches last year for almost 800 or 900 yards and 7 touchdowns, and he was all over the field. He was literally a running back, a wide receiver. You can line him up anywhere, and now he just suddenly forgot how to play football. You're saying he has the yips? Is that what you're saying? And he's just non-existent. Their whole game plan runs through one player, and that's Deebo Samuel. This was a team that was so deep with talent a few years ago that now it's just like, where is the talent? George Kittle, forget about it with George Kittle. I think it's done. I think we've seen enough of George Kittle. I think that the story's been written. Incredible tight end when he's healthy, incredible competitor, but he's just always fucking hurt. And Kyle Shanahan, for some reason, just people seem to think this guy's some fucking guru. He can't figure it out. And this is a team. Joe, think about this for a second, too. Mm-hmm. And this doesn't just stop with Shanahan. I don't think he's a great coach. And I'm going to say this right now. I don't think John Lynch is the most amazing GM in the world either. You know they gave up 2 first-round picks? 2 first-round picks to move up and get a quarterback that was nowhere near ready. Not even close. He was the least pro-ready out of all the rookie quarterbacks. Right? Going into it. He might be a little more ready than Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields is still getting there, but Trey Lance struggles. You moved up to get him. He can't stay on the field already.
You had your reservations about him in the drafts and when back in the draft. I know you did. I remember.
Yeah, and their offensive game plan with him is limited.
Right now, yep. Very Tua-esque.
Very Tua-esque game plan. He can only hit a guy if he's wide open, and that was the issue in college. But you gave up all those first-round picks to move up when you could have had Mac Jones. Why? And then Jimmy G's still your quarterback. And Jimmy G, listen, talk about a story being written. It's over. So what does this team do? Like, this team is in a division that's very, very, very difficult. They are in now one of the hardest divisions in football, if not the hardest division in football.
No, I think it's when Russell is healthy, it's the hardest division in football.
Yes.
I think, yes.
I'm saying that with Russell healthy.
Right.
It's the hardest division in football. This is a team that's 2 years removed from Super Bowl that we said, wow, holy shit. They have the defense. They have Washington-esque idea of defense.
Mm-hmm. And then they got rid of DeForest Buckner.
And then
Javon Kinlaw is hurt again.
Bosa
People
was
are saying
hurt.
he's a bust now. Kinlaw. Bosa can't stay on the field sometimes. They got a lot of guys. They're a good team when they're healthy, but they're never healthy. Never healthy.
And then when they play, it seems like this man overcoaches himself. He thinks he's playing 4D chess. So it's like, what are we doing here? It's one thing if you're Sean McVay. Listen, Sean McVay's an incredible coach. There's no debating that. But Kyle Shanahan, really? 0.48 win percentage.
I really want to disagree with anything you said, but I can't. I don't think that the Super Bowl was a fluke. I think they were legitimately a good football team that season.
I agree, 100%.
And I still think that they are a good football team with the players that they have because the players are talented. The players are good. But for some reason, I don't think, and this is the thing that I don't like, and it's going to go back to the coach. I don't think the scheme is good. I don't think the scheme is good at all. They have no vertical passing threat whatsoever. Zero. Debo is not a vertical passing threat. He is a crosser, a gadget player, and they get him in space probably better than any other team does in the NFL. That I'll give them, right? Mm-hmm. Their vertical threat is George Kittle, but George Kittle's not running fly routes. George Kittle's not running post patterns. George Kittle's running over the middle of the field like Travis Kelce does, and he's bullying his way through defenders, right? Their running back, Mostert, can't stay healthy. Cannot stay healthy. Can't do it.
Trey Sermon.
Hasn't been healthy. Can't stay healthy, but hasn't been healthy in his rookie season, right? I don't like the scheme. They have a good defense, and they have a subpar quarterback room. They have an average running back room. They have a average to subpar wide receiver room. The offense is not good, John. It's not a good offense. And I think you're right when you said, I want to get on John Lynch a little bit. You have to. When's the last time they drafted an offensive player in the first round of the draft? Well, outside of Trey Lance.
Was it Brandon Ayuk?
Was he a first rounder?
I think he was a first rounder. And that's what makes it even more mind-boggling.
I want to look at their first round picks because I
You know that Trey Sermon was healthy last game and he had 1 carry? 1 carry.
Did anybody ask him why? Ask him why?
He has no answer. He has no answer for it. And this, Joe, this is what I sent you before. I sent this to you because I wanted to make a note of it to think. So this is what he said about Ayuk. I want Ayuk to keep getting better. I don't think he's quite back to what he was last year. Excuse me, but what the fuck? What happened to Brandon Ayuk? They did this with Dante Pettis. Why is he getting the Dante Pettis treatment? For no reason. It doesn't make any sense.
So the last two picks they had in the first round of the draft was Ayuk at 25 overall and Lance at 3. Right, so those two offense. Do you know the last offensive player before those two guys they drafted in the first round was 2012 by the name of A.J. Jenkins, a wide receiver out of Illinois, who obviously was a bust, never worked out. And then before that, it was Michael Crabtree in 2009.
Wow, Crabtree, wow.
Okay? Since the year 2000, the San Francisco 49ers, I'm going to count really quick, have had.
I love when Joe goes in-depth detail on teams' drafts.
So there's been 21 drafts since the year 2000.
Okay.
They've had 29 first-round picks. 29. So that means they've had 8 years where they've had multiple first-round picks. Do you know how many offensive skill players they selected in those drafts?
How many? I'm going to say under 10.
6.
Jesus Christ.
6. 2 of them were quarterbacks. And 3 of them were wide receivers. No, 4 of them wide receivers. 4 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, 0 running backs. 6, John. 6.
That's nuts.
That's a philosophical thing. Why are we not drafting offensive skill players more often? And as of late, Javon Kinlaw, Nick Bosa, Mike McGlinchey, Reuben Foster, Solomon Thomas, Joshua Garnett, DeForest Buckner. That's just in the past 5 years. DeBarris Buckner, gone. Joshua Garnett, I don't even know if he starts. Solomon Thomas, gone. Reuben Foster, gone. Mike McGlinchey, good. Offensive tackle. Bosa's very good. Kinlaw, so far, no good. Ayuk, we have no idea. And Trey Lance is a question mark. So I don't want to even say they've drafted well in the first round in the past 5 or 6 years. They hit on Bosa and they hit on McGlinchey. Everybody else is a question mark.
Yep.
It's a question mark. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think you're onto something there. I do.
There's something going on, and it's not making much sense to me.
And when you have a quote unquote offensive guru, how are you not drafting more guys in the first round that are skill players? How is that not happening? How is that not happening? I'm telling you right now, if Trey Lance is a bust, Kyle Shanahan's not going to last another 3 years.
And John Lynch is going to be gone too. They hedge their jobs on this kid.
And San Francisco is one of those franchises where it's not about making the playoffs. It's about getting to the Super Bowl and winning Super Bowls.
Because of the pedigree, of course. Of course.
So it's not like you're coaching the friggin' the Arizona Cardinals or you're not coaching the Carolina Panthers. You're coaching the San Francisco 49ers. You get Super Bowl or bust. I mean, this team had playoff aspirations this year. They had Super Bowl aspirations. And they're sitting 2-4 with quarterback questions.
He wasn't supposed to play this year. Trey Lance was not supposed to touch the field this year.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. Let's cover one more team, and then we'll move on to our last segment. I want to talk. This is going to pain me. I want to hang myself for doing this. But we are a football podcast, and by definition, I have to talk about them when it's time. I need to give credit to the Tennessee Titans. And the words coming out of my mouth make me want to punch myself in the face for saying this. The Tennessee Titans may very well have had the most 2 impressive back-to-back weeks of this football season I've seen of any team in the NFL this year.
I agree.
That Bills game on Monday night, I watched that game in Cancun. That's the one game I did watch. That team, the Bills kept coming back, and the Titans answered every single call. And then this past Sunday, I didn't watch the game, but they completely embarrassed Kansas City.
It was embarrassing. Kansas City couldn't get anything going. They locked down Hill. They locked down Kelsey. Mahomes had one of his worst games of his career.
I know. But, I mean, you know, we didn't know how good they were, and I still have questions about their defense, but, I mean, they're a good football team. They're a good football team, and Mike Vrabel is a good football coach. And
I'm glad you said it. I don't think enough people are talking about it. I don't think enough
about Vrabel?
About Vrabel. I don't think enough people are talking about Tennessee. I mean, granted, they have a huge game this week against Indianapolis.
I think they win that game going away. Am I crazy to think that way?
I think it's going to be closer than you
Do
think.
you really?
Indy's not bad, bro.
Indy just, again, we just destroyed San Francisco. They beat San Francisco in the rain. And Indianapolis is a run first team. So I wasn't super impressed by that win. Call me nuts.
Listen, Wentz, to his credit, you got to give credit where credit's due. Not to derail the Titans conversation, but he might be comeback player of the year. But go ahead.
Wentz over Dak?
Dude, he looks incredible.
I think Dak's got comeback player. Or Dak and Burrow are by far, I think, the two.
Guess. It's listen, he's going to be in the discussion for sure. But Tennessee, dude, I agree. I don't think enough people are talking about him. Like you said.
And Derrick Henry is
MVP.
Otherworldly. What he does to NFL defenders I've never seen anything like that in my life. What he does to NFL defenders should not happen. Shouldn't happen.
Not to mention they're the last of a dying breed. He's the last of a dying breed.
He is like. You remember Brandon Jacobs from the New York Giants?
Yes.
Okay. He's like Brandon Jacobs, but more athletic, and he could catch the football.
Seems like he could throw
He's
it, too.
literally, and every year I'm saying, this is the year Derrick Henry is going to slow down. This is the year Derrick Henry, and he just doesn't. He doesn't slow down. He gets stronger as the game goes on, which is nuts. It's nuts. Every year I say, the Titans are only as good as Derrick Henry is. And maybe that's true. Maybe there's something to that. If they take Derrick Henry out of that team, I don't think they're nearly as good. But the reality is they have Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry is that good. And in January, when they face a team like, when they face if they play a team like the Cincinnati Bengals, or if they play a team like the Baltimore Ravens, or if they play a team like, the Los Angeles Chargers, who are awful against the run currently. Awful against the run. Am I trusting Derrick Henry over those guys? Hell yes, I am. Absolutely.
He's unreal, man.
Now, don't get me wrong. If the Titans go to the Super Bowl this year, I literally might hang myself because I cannot deal with that. I cannot witness the Tennessee Titans winning a Super Bowl, let alone getting to a Super Bowl.
Is he your MVP right now?
No.
Wow, I'm surprised.
He's a top 3 for me.
He's up there.
He's top 3. But he's not number 1.
You know what's going to be impressive really quick before we move on from the Titans?
Yeah.
If he breaks the rushing record without the extra game.
There's
a good chance he will.
The MVP right now of the league has to be, to me, it's not Josh Allen. People think it's Josh Allen.
Is it Tom?
No. To me, it's one of 2 guys, and I just mentioned them before. It's either Dak or Joe Burrow.
For MVP?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did anybody see what was right now? If you're asking me, my vote is Dak. My vote is Dak. Because we did not expect this from the Cowboys or the Bengals.
Burrow is special.
Burrow is having a great year. A great year. But my top 3 are Dak, Burrow, and Henry in that order.
Wow. I'm honest. Wow.
That's my.
I'm surprised.
Now, are they going to win the MVP? I don't know. But if we're going based off of most valuable player, I think it's one of those 3 guys.
Interesting.
For sure. So.
Oh, God. I got to redeem myself in the next segment.
That was fun. Let's get back in a minute. And John is going to try to catch up to your new leader in the clubhouse for game picks. Stick with us. All right, John. It's that time.
It is.
I didn't post to the Twitter, but you guys went 2 for 6 last week in sleepers and busts.
Oh, God.
You said your sleeper was Damian Harris, and you nailed that. So good job by you.
I started him, too.
Your bust was DJ Moore, and he had like 12 points, but we'll call it a bust because DJ Moore is expected to put up a lot. Chris said his sleeper was Demetric Felton, negative. And his bust was Devontae Smith. He had 11 points, right? Devontae Smith, I think he said was his bust.
He had like 11 points.
And I'll give him that. So actually 3 out of 6. And Richie's sleeper was...
Rashard Higgins? No, his bust was Rashard Higgins.
Which I don't understand. I'm going to just completely... That's not a bust.
I guess he thought because...
Rashard Higgins can't be a bust. He's not a sleep. He's a sleeper. He's not a bust. A bust is like a premium player.
I think he misunderstood what I asked.
But anyway, you guys did okay. Not too great. But do you want to do that first, or do you want to do game picks?
Let's do
the sleepers and busts first.
Yeah, I'm ready to go on that.
You're ready to go. All right. Why don't you go first? You're doing the sleepers this week.
Yes. So my running back sleeper is going to be Khalil Herbert. Now, this is a guy that we've seen over the last couple of years. Sorry. Joe's getting like butt ass naked for some reason. No, he's really not. But anyway, Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert is my running back sleeper. He's available, so he's started in only 43% of leagues in sleeper right now.
And he is the number 1 back?
He is like...
Over Damian Williams?
Yeah, he's solidified himself. He's had 18 points and 19 points in respective weeks, and people still are sleeping on him. So he's going against the 49ers, who Jonathan Allen just absolutely Jonathan. Wait, is it Jonathan Allen? What's his name? Jonathan Taylor. I put
Jonathan
Allen
Taylor.
in it. Jonathan Taylor absolutely torched the 49ers. I don't know if that had something to do with the rain, but Khalil Herbert, I think, is a comfortable sleeper start.
Comfortable. Are you starting him?
Of course I am. In a couple of leagues that I'm in, I'm starting him.
Okay.
Maybe not in Ronaldo, but
Right. You got a big game this week, Ronaldo.
I do. It's a championship rematch.
Big game. I'm not going to lie. I do want you to lose. Because I want you to stay off my tail, bro.
You making you nervous?
I want you to stay off my tail. No. Not even remotely. Come on. With my super team? No. Last week I was supposed to lose. I didn't have any of my guys.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Even though I lost to 0-16.
Knock it off, Joseph.
All right. Who's your next one?
So my wide receiver sleeper is an interesting one. And now, because I watched a few Rams games, I've seen this guy in action.
Oh, you picked him up, you dog. I know who you're going to say.
Van Jefferson is my wide receiver sleeper. Now, Van Jefferson was a pretty good recruit last year coming out of Florida, right? His dad is a wide receivers coach, I think for the Eagles, believe it or not. He is becoming more of a threat within this passing game. You see very early on that Stafford tries to get him involved. Stafford tries to get him involved in the corner of the end zone. Stafford tries to get him involved deep. He's a big play waiting to happen.
He's taking over that Josh Reynolds role.
Yes. And I think a big game is in the cards for him. They are going against...
They're playing the Texans, aren't they?
I believe so. They're going against Houston.
Talk about a soft schedule.
Yeah. So that's my wide receiver sleeper.
They've played the Russell Wilson-less Seahawks, and they played the Lions. Now they're playing the Texans.
And the Lions game was like close for 3.5 quarters.
All right, so we got Khalil Herbert, Van Jefferson, and who's your quarterback?
My quarterback sleeper is Matty Ice.
Against the
Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
Matt Ryan is quietly having a very good year. I'm going to say it. Carolina, we really liked them, didn't we? And now we're a little out.
I had them at 7-10. I'm going to go on that.
Yeah, you
They're
did.
3-4 right now.
I got a little too excited. I was a little too bullish on them. I mean, I had them missing the playoffs also, but after the first 3 weeks, I was like, holy shit, Carolina's here. That defense is going to be on the field so much, I feel like, because Darnold just... Talk about like a Jekyll and Hyde player. Why does he look like an MVP for 3 weeks, and then he looks like he forgot how to play football?
Because teams started to play defense.
Yeah, he just doesn't... He's talk about seeing ghosts. I think that's just his problem. I think he just sees ghosts, and I think once his confidence is gone, he's done. But Matty Ice, man, he's having a great year. He's getting Calvin Ridley's back again, like for the second week in a row. Russell Gage, wide receiver room's getting healthy. Kyle Pitts has showed up. The Kyle Pitts party.
Kyle Pitts has entered the chat.
He really has. It's 7 catches for 163 yards last week.
Yeah.
They don't even line him up on the line, bro. He's catching balls in double coverage. Freak. Absolute freak.
This is what we said.
Yeah.
This is what we thought. This was the... Maybe he's the first tight end since Jeremy Shockey to have over 1,000 yards receiving.
In a rookie year.
In a rookie season.
But Matt Ryan looks good, man. This Falcons team.
Is Kyle Pitts going to be the wonder of all soul, and he's going to break the rookie tight end curse?
Could. It seems like it if Matt Ryan keeps throwing the football. So Matt Ryan's my quarterback sleeper. Give me your busts.
All right. World beaters. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. You tell me the position you want me to go first.
Go running back.
All right. My running back bust of the week is, and John, you're going to hate me for this.
You just look at my roster and you pick my players to bust out, don't you?
I just realized as I looked down, I said, this guy's on John's team. He's on one of my teams too, though.
Okay, go.
Alvin Kamara. All right. Can I tell you why?
He's going against one of the best run defenses in the NFL.
He is. And that happens to be the Tampa Bay Bucks.
I swear, Joe does this to me on purpose.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are giving up 3.72 yards a carry. They are currently have only given up 3 touchdowns to running backs this season. John, that's low.
Yeah.
That's low. And they've only given up 472 yards. Do you know what that number ranks so far in the NFL this year?
What?
Number 1. Number 1. I was gonna go with Fournette because the Saints on their own. Honestly, I would say don't start Fournette or Alvin Kamara this week. The Saints have only given up 485 yards, and they're giving up 3.3 yards per carry, and have only given up 4 touchdowns to running backs this year.
Interesting.
So I'll give you a bonus. Don't start Kamara, and do not start. You know what? I shouldn't say don't start Kamara. I wouldn't start Kamara as a running back this week. So if you want to put him in your flex spot, and you would think, but I think he's only going to purely give you points on catches this week, and you're not going to get a lot of him in the run game.
Interesting.
Leonard Fournette, I would definitely bench this week. I would not start Leonard Fournette this week. It's something I would not do. So I'll give you a bonus.
So who's your pass catcher that you took from my team?
Okay, I did not.
Okay.
And again, another guy who's on my roster in your league, actually.
Oh.
And he's not a wide receiver. He's a tight end. Mike Gesicki is my bust for the week at the receiving position.
He's been hot.
He's been very hot, which is why he's my bust.
Too hot.
Mike Gesicki right now is number 3 in tight end points this season. Number 3. He's behind 2 guys. He's behind Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. And then there's Mike Gesicki. Okay? They're playing the Buffalo Bills this week. The Buffalo Bills are the number 1 team against the pass so far this year in football. And specifically against tight ends, they've only given up 2 touchdowns to tight ends this season in their 6 games. Mm-hmm. In 4 of the 6 games that they've played, they've given up no more than 2 catches to the opposing 3 catches to the opposing tight end. Okay, and in the 2 games that they did give up more than 3 catches to the tight end, those are the 2 games they gave a touchdown. Logan Thomas in week 3 had 4 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown.
Okay,
right, and then against the Chiefs, Kelce had that touchdown in garbage time, I think. It was 6 for 57 and a score. But again, 6 for 57 and 4 for 42 is not great. It's okay. It's good. It's not great. Right? They've yet to give up 20 points to a tight end this year in general, even with those tight end numbers. You have to give up 20 points to a tight end this year. And they, not to mention, they've already played the Dolphins this season, and they beat them 35-0. And Gesicki had 3 catches for 41 yards in that game. The Bills are coming off a bye. I think they came off a bye after they lost that Monday night game in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. I think they have a lot to prove. And I think Miami is reeling so much that I think this might be a game where Miami lays down. So Mike Gesicki is my pass-catching bust of the week. Now, my quarterback bust.
He's already smiling. It's going to be something spicy.
My quarterback bust of the week is Tom Brady. The GOAT.
Wow. Richie, cover your ears.
Yeah, fantasy specific. Okay. Currently, the New Orleans Saints are giving up the 3rd lowest completion percentage to opposing quarterbacks this year at a rate of 59.9. Okay? That's number 1. Number 2, they are one of 2 teams in the NFL this season who have intercepted the quarterback more than touchdowns they've given up as a defense. Okay. The other being the Buffalo Bills, who we just spoke about. The New Orleans Saints have given up 6 touchdown passes to quarterbacks this year, and they've picked off the quarterback 9 times this season. Okay? And then on top of that, they have given up only 1,593 passing yards, which is good for 9th best in the NFL. I think, and this game, is the game in New Orleans this week?
I believe it is.
You believe it's? I mean, I'll double check really quick. But I think the game is in New Orleans. And where are we? Week 8. Yes, they're in New Orleans. Okay. I don't know if the Saints are going to win the game, but I think you're going to see a very defensive heavy game in that game on Sunday. I'm thinking like 17-14, maybe 20-14.
Whoa.
20-17. I do not expect it to be a big offensive game. Both defenses are excellent. I shouldn't say excellent. Both defenses are good. I think the New Orleans defense overall is better than the Tampa Bay defense. Tampa Bay defense, the passing defense is not great, but Jameis Winston is also not a world beater in the offensive system that the Saints have put together.
So you might have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I'm just trying to pull it up here, but apps are moving slowly. I feel like I'm having like technical difficulties in my own house with stuff.
Technical difficulties. What's your question?
I think the line is only 3.5.
It's 6. I just checked.
Oh, it's 6. Oh, okay.
It's 6.
I thought it was lower.
So speaking of lines,
Here we go.
let's get to it, baby.
I have to make a comeback.
John, so I posted it on the Twitter account. Last week, your boy, after going 5-0 the week before, first 5-0 in Perfect Spiral history. First of many, I'm sure. But, there's always got to be the first guy. Followed it up with a 4-1 week this week. The only game I'd lost was the Ravens game. I took the Ravens minus 6.5. That was a complete miss on my part. John went 2-3. Started off hot.
I did.
Took the Cincy Bengals over the Ravens. That was a good call. And then you took the Pack. We both took the Green Bay Packers last week because we thought that was easy.
Yeah.
Then I think you went off the rails a little bit because you took the Jets.
I did.
You took the Bears. And then you took the Rams minus 15.5, and they did not cover that spread. So let me replay the rules for everybody. 5 games. Must have at least one dog in those games. Wow, 5-1 Houston in the bottom.
Yeah, I threw on the World Series.
And you're not limited to one dog, but you must need one dog. The season standings are as follows. My friend John McCarthy is currently 18-17 on the season. Still over 500. So you got that going for you. I am 20-15. After a miserable start to the year,
I will point out,
I have come back on fire.
Maddie's also 500 on the season.
Maddie is 500 on the season.
My dog's 500 on the season. If you want to see my dog's picks, at Perfect Spiral Pod on TikTok. Okay. So you want me to give you mine first?
So let's go with you since you are now in second place.
Okay. So I'm going to save my upset special for last. So I am going, for my first pick, I'm going Colts minus 1.5 against Tennessee. Ooh. I'm going Steelers plus 3.5. I'm going Kansas City minus 10.
I thought about that. I really did. I think the Giants are in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah,
I really do.
They got to get right at some point. I'm taking my Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, you're doing it
in Dallas. Sunday night, Halloween night, spooky season. I'm taking Minnesota to win plus 1.5. And then my upset special, Joe. Let me just double check who they're playing.
Please take the Jaguars plus 3.5.
I'm not. It's not. Hold on, wait. I hate ESPN. By the way, can we just? Oh no, here it is. ESPN's sports app sucks. Who are they playing? I have them here. I just want to make sure. Okay. I mean, is it really an upset though? Yeah, really, it's really not that big of an upset, but whatever. I'm taking the Lions at home against Philly. I think this is the game that the Lions finally win. Plus 3.5.
John.
Spicy picks this week, huh?
Spicy picks, definitely. We have one game that is the same.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. You want me to know which game that is?
Which one?
I also took the Lions plus 3.5.
Let's go
against the Eagles as my upset special. I do think this is the week. So just a quick note: when I was doing my prep for the show, I was inadvertently doing sleepers by accident. I wasn't planning on doing sleepers, but I was. Do you know that the Eagles defense is currently giving up the highest completion percentage to opposing quarterbacks this season?
I did not know that.
So if I was going to pick a sleeper quarterback this week, it would have been Jared Goff. That would have been my sleeper quarterback.
Interesting.
So I think the Lions are finally going to get a W this week. They're at home. If this game was in Philly, I would say no.
Yeah,
But because they're at home, they're in a dome. I'll give them the dub there. Now, I am taking. I just got on them and I just sung their praises. So they're probably going to lose this week, but I'm going to take them anyway. I'm taking the Titans plus 1.5 against the Colts.
Wow, we both have that game different. Okay.
Yep. I think the Titans. I said it before, but I think the Titans are going to win that game.
Okay.
I am taking the Bengals minus 10.5 in the Meadowlands against the Mike White-led New York Jets. If there's one game that I think could be over before it starts, it is that game.
Okay.
I am taking the Atlanta Falcons minus 3.5 at home against the Carolina Panthers, who are reeling. The Atlanta Falcons have surprised me and a lot of people. They are 3-3. They are currently tied with the Minnesota Vikings for the last wild card spot in the NFC at the moment.
Yeah.
So taking the Falcons minus 3.5 at home. So those are my 4 games. I have not yet picked the 5th game because I am so conflicted on who to take. There were 3 games that I was debating on, okay? One of them was obviously the Jags plus 3.5 in Seattle with Geno Smith, which I don't think is a bad bet. I really don't. My other game was taking the Cowboys minus 1.5 in Minnesota. And then my last one was the LA Chargers at home minus 5 hosting the Patriots. I couldn't make a decision. I'm going to make a decision right now because I couldn't make a decision on the spot. The game that I feel most confident about is the Dallas game because I think Dallas is better than Minnesota. Like, in all facets, I think they're better than Minnesota.
I agree, yeah.
I think they have the better quarterback. They have the better run game. They have the better pass game. They have the better defense right now. Mm-hmm. But something about that game doesn't sit right with me. I don't know why, but it doesn't.
Trap game.
Every fiber in my being wants me to pick the Chargers to beat the Patriots this week. But because the Patriots played hard against the Cowboys. Granted, that game was at home. This game is in LA. Chargers coming off a bye. So I don't know. And then I have my football team plus 3.5 coming off a bye in Seattle with Geno Smith. I watched Geno Smith on Monday. He was pitiful. He was garbage. But I can't take my football team to go into Seattle. There's like games that no, that's an L. Like, that's a big fat L. I feel like this is one of those games, but with if Russell Wilson was playing in this game, I would say the Seahawks would drop 50 on Jacksonville, and I'm not even exaggerating. But because Geno Smith is playing this game, I think they could possibly win this game. But I'm going to stay away because they're in Seattle. I think that has disaster written all over it. So it's between the Chargers minus 5 over the Patriots or the Cowboys minus 1.5 in Minnesota. I have taken 2 road teams and 2 home teams so far. So I am you know what? I'm going to spice things up. I'm going to take the opposite team as you. I'm taking the Cowboys minus 1.5.
Whoa!
I talked myself into it. I'm taking the Cowboys minus 1.5 off the bye. Let's go.
This is going to be an intense week of picks.
So, to go over John's picks, Colts minus 1.5. Steelers plus 3.5. I like that pick, by the way. Kansas City minus 10. Vikings minus 1.5. Lions plus 3.5. And just so we know, John, out of your 5 picks, you know that you did not pick a team to win, to cover, that is over 500 this week? That is better than 500?
Wow.
You did not pick one over 500 team. I picked 1, 2, 3 teams that are over 500 this week. I took the Titans plus 1.5, the Bengals minus 10.5, the Lions plus 3.5, the Falcons minus 3.5, and the Cowboys minus 1.5.
There it is.
And that does it for episode number 36. John, any last words for the folks at home?
No, man. Welcome back, Joe.
I know, right? Came back with a fury today.
Yeah, we did. We definitely. Hey, listen, this episode. This is a long one, but we had a lot to say today. So almost an hour 40 today.
Hey, listen. Sometimes you gotta.
There was a lot going on.
There was a lot going on.
I don't want to hear it from anybody.
I hear you. Listen. Hope everybody has a nice week. Make sure you watch the football. Got some great game tomorrow. Packers at Arizona. Cardinals looking to go to 8-0 tomorrow.
Who do you got in that game, real quick? Before
give me the Cardinals without Devontae and Alan Lazard for the Packers. I'll take the Cardinals.
I'm going Green Bay.
Oh, you really?
I think Green Bay wins.
I think Arizona will win. I think it's a close game, but I take Arizona. Then you got the games on Sunday. Sunday night is Dallas at Minnesota.
Let's go.
So that's a huge game for the Vikings, I think.
That's huge.
And then Monday night, the Giants will be in Kansas City, in Arrowhead, where the Chiefs will be looking to get back to 500. Chiefs have not been over 500 since week 1. Crazy to think about. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the week. We will hit you up next week after these results and Joe's impending second 5-0 game picks week of the year. All right, we'll see you later. Spencer, we're out.